Oliks täällä muuten mä voisin hakea sen mun vesilasin tuolta.
Niin,
Joo, joo. Okay. Ei mitään, ei mitään.
Yep. Okay, okay. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2, testing, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing. Testing, testing, testing. Trying this out. Seeing if it works. Yeah. Okay. Working or not working? Is it? Can you hear me? 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Where? Yeah, okay, can you? Yeah, okay, so testing, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is working at least. Yeah, okay, great. 1, 2, yeah.
1, 2, 3. Oh, oh, oh. Welcome everyone to our Ideas into Action night. I'd like those of you who are still not sitting to take action and take a seat. Thank you. Can you take the slide? So here's what's going to happen today. It's going to be the first time that EYP is doing a night like that, and it's a night that is supposed to help us with our momentum and with our speed and trajectory for our high jumps, as I was telling you yesterday. We will have our Ideas into Action night in 3 stages. In stage number 1, we will have 2 fantastic speakers with us. We will have Petri Vilen starting, who is an actual, real-life entrepreneur, and he will tell us about his experiences with action and with projects and with making things happen. We hope that this is going to help you not only for this session and for the projects that you think of for this session, but in general in the future, if you feel that you are the people who can do things in the future and who can bring change. So Petri is going to start, and afterwards we're going to have our very own Krista Simberg, who is managing projects as her job and who has been doing this within EYP context for a very long time. And Krista is going to share with us her experiences with projects and what she has learned. And what we believe is that those experiences and those learning points, again, will be useful for you not only for this particular session, as well for this particular session, but also for any projects and action that you might want to take in the future during your studies and then during your professional careers. So we will start with those 2 TED Talks. They will take place here. Afterwards, we're going to move to Action Village. In the Action Village, each of the committees is going to have a stand. During the first 30 minutes of the Action Village, you will have time to prepare your stand. And what we will ask you to do is, on your flip chart that you will have provided, we want you to put the cause that you are trying to change. Projects they can do themselves. Committees are thinking about what I individually can do on a very small scale. Some of the committees are thinking about the big areas that will need to be changed by a government or the EU level. So it will be a chance for us to understand what other committees are after and what kind of ideas for actions they have. The Action Village is going to have those stages. The first one is the preparation, where you prepare your stand. Afterwards, you mingle. That's the time when you learn about the other committees. And at that time, we would like to ask you to start shifting mindsets. We would like to ask you in the open village to come to at least 5 other stands and leave a post-it with what you personally can do to help their cause. It doesn't need to be anything gigantic. We're thinking small here, but we believe that there is something that you personally can do for actually any of the topics of this session. And as we've talked about yesterday, 70-80% of the session has already seen this. Just as a very quick recap, what we do in EYP and what we do really well is we think about problems and we think what they, an organization, EU, international actors can do to solve that problem. It's valid, it's what helps us with our education and with our contribution to democratic society. Thinking about what they can do is something that requires relatively little effort, and to be honest, if it's just about thinking what they can do, it will not have that much impact because we cannot control whether they will do it or not. We can then move to the we as a committee, what can we do? And this is something that will require a bit more effort than only think about what they can do, but is likely also gonna have a higher probability of actually happening. And then the I at the very bottom, what can I do within that problem to help that challenge? This is something that is likely requiring the most commitment, but it also has the highest probability of things actually happening. This is why today at the Action Village, we will be concentrating on the I. Can you come back to the schedule? I think that's it for my introduction. It is my honor and pleasure to invite our first speaker to the scene. Please give a round of applause to Petri Vilen.
Okay. Yeah, much better. So I'm going to talk about entrepreneurship. I'm an entrepreneur by heart. So I started my first company when I was 15 years old. I've founded six companies so far. Worked as CEO and worked as partner in many companies in digital area, creative field, and also organizing a lot of events. And what is basically my approach to impact this is the entrepreneurial approach. So which means that creating something you're doing and starting from the doing part. So the usual way to create impact is through what we are doing in here, which is very important. Having meetings, few years, and which have been trying to solve some kind of problems in societal level related to entrepreneurship related to startups, to the startup ecosystem. So I hope you get some takeaways from this, and I'm happy to answer any questions afterwards. So basically, the first one, which is basically the oldest one of my examples, is the day for failure. And we started the day for failure because we saw a problem in Finland, which is also a big problem around the world, but especially in Finland, that the poor acceptance of failure as part of entrepreneurship. So basically, if you want to create something new, that means that you have to experiment a lot of things. You have to try new things, and if no one has tried it, your chances to fail are very high. So we need the acceptance of failure a lot. So how can you change something that is so deeply integrated in the culture of Finland or any other country? And how to sort of unload that cultural balance? So what we started doing is create a campaign to share the stories by well-known people about their failures, about what is their experiences, how they have failed previously in their careers, and sort of unloading the burden that coming out with failures, talking about failures could be something that inspires people to try new things. So we collected about 25 celebrities, well-known business people in Finland to share some stories, some points about their failure, what is their relationship to failure, and we got a lot of coverage about the news for that. And the idea was that if someone that you know, someone that you're familiar with, talks about failures, talks about something that's in culture, has some kind of burden in it, that might help to loosen up the conversation, loosen up things that really are triggering and are sort of blocking people from starting their own companies, starting startups and becoming entrepreneurs. So that was the initial point, and what we got from that was basically we got about 20 plus volunteers working on this, so contacting these people, working on the videos, working on the media connections to start getting people to actually write about these stories, write about these people sharing their failures.